The T was a special offer between 1968 to 1973, but in 2017 it came back on the 991 and it became so popular that Porsche labeled their other models like the Cayman, the Boxster and the Macan with the T badge. Now this 992 version has been labeled and it squeezes its place in between the base Carrera and the Carrera S, and it comes in at a base price of 1,240,000 Swedish crowns here in Sweden. The T stands for touring. That means touring in a lighter way. It's got lighter glass, it's got less isolation, it's got a lighter battery, it's got the titanium grey 21-inch rims, the back seat has been removed, and it's got a 7-speed manual gearbox, which saves a lot of weight. But for no extra charge, you can get your back seats back in place, and you can also choose a PDK gearbox 8-speed. But that puts the 35 kilos back in place, which you save by using or choosing the manual gearbox. However, at 1,470 kilos, this becomes the lightest 911 with the base entry engine. So the T for touring, well, lighter touring that is. Reduced soundproofing makes everything and all the noises a lot more pronounced. But that makes it also a bit lighter, almost in the category of you know, simpler sports car, and you can really hear the engine a lot more, so it's more present. I start off in normal to feel how the chassis setting feels there. I've turned on the sports exhaust system. You want that as much as possible because this turbo engine, it kills some of that nice sound. I also put in this auto blip, which I think works really good. This is quick in this car. The acceleration, it's not like you, well, it's not like you faint, but it's just good enough. Well, it's more than good enough. 4.5 seconds, 0 to 100. We hope that you like our reviews. If you do, please subscribe, hit the bell icon and comment in the section. To spot the differences, well, the badge on the back, which says 911 Carrera T. And also, yeah, you can see on the sticker here, I don't know if I like that sticker or if it suits this car. And some attributes that sticks out are this Agatha gray nuances on the side rear view mirrors. Of course, it got the same color on this. It's like the same color called titanium gray, but that is called Agatha gray. I don't know what about that. On the intake slats here, there's some gray, and there's also some gray color on the upper part of the windscreen. So the 6-cylinder Boxster engine produces 385 horsepower, 450 Newton meters of torque. With a manual gearbox, you go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.5 seconds, which is just plenty enough. And the top speed is 291 kilometers an hour. I think you can push it even more because they always understate their speed and their acceleration figures. And of course you can choose a lot of colors for this car. Some special colors, and they are called Chalk, Ruby Star Neo, Carmine Red, Shark Blue or Python Green. And now customers can also choose their own colors by this PTS, the paint to sample. Optional for this car is also a rear axle steering, which is mostly reserved for models from the Carrera S and upwards. There is a lot of gears to shift about here, and as you get up to 6th gear, well, then you got a 7th on top there. It really glides into the right position, but you know, a manual gearbox with that many gears might feel a bit overkill, but it's more like an overdrive when you drive on motorways to settle down everything. And you don't really think about it when you have a PDK or a double clutch gearbox. But here, yeah, it's a jungle of gears. And when you just cruise along like this, the engine is very subtle. It's very calm. It's not like it's there lurking and just want to go for attack. It's calm. You hear that little rumble in the background, which is nice. You want that when you push on a little, it scrambles. But in 7th gear like this, driving 90 kilometers, 100 kilometers or above, civilized. And you can feel that yeah, the big tires and this isolation that has been removed. The lighter glass makes all the noise leak in a bit more. You can also hear as small stones and chips hit the undercarriage around the car. So it's a bit more naked in its being, but that's what this touring is about. And as you run through the labyrinth of all these gears, you get to feel this beautifully 10mm shortened, chubby, stubby gearbox. It's a delight. I like it a lot. It's so thick on top, so it feels like you need to push it, but it's very soft as you push it and put in another gear. So it works just so fine, and it's quick. And together with that auto blip, works just brilliant. This entry-level engine with 385 horsepower, it covers the performance that you need, especially in a car like this. It has so much grip, it has such steering precision, and the balance overall is just so manageable. So you don't need to add up any more power. You can become such a good driver if you use this effectively, often, and taking it out on the racetrack. But I think when you've learned it and when you know how you can max this out, well, of course, then you want some more power. But the great thing with this car is that when you do acceleration, you can just push fully on the accelerator. It just sucks up all that grip that you need without spinning out of control, even when dumping the clutch like that. And then it just goes on. This is quick enough, and it feels so good. And it feels more alive and present in this costume, the T costume, the sports suspension package. Well, it does its job. The PTV, the Porsche torque vectoring system, together with PASM, the sports suspension pack with adaptive dampers, and that also lowers the suspension 10mm. It helps it along the way to make it magic when you want to take on the most demanding corners. It's always what Porsche does. So in that field, they're really up there. Inside, it looks like it always does in a 911. The most obvious thing is that there's no rear seats. You can put some bags back here. It's pretty convenient. You just fold this one forward and you push your luggage in, or your shopping bags, or whatever you got. Elegant in that way. There's leather over here. You got some of this piano polish looking, which is so popular. The seats, they always look good and they feel good to sit in. It says 911 here in that gray color. Apart from that, it's, you know, it is as it always is in here. You get this chubby manual gear stick, which feels just perfect in your hand. This little ball up here, it's a bit thicker, so it's really good to grab, and it's like, yeah, let's get on with it. But it's very elegant. You got the buttons here, great feel in them as you push, and everything just clicks, very distinct. The buttons here on the steering wheel, very quick. Everything is quick in here, very intuitive, and it's a very logic layout. You get this cup holder here, which is Porsche style. This cup holder here, if you think that's in the way, well, you can just remove that, but that hole there with a sticker and the warning in the bottom is not so beautiful, so you put that back. The graphics here in those different clusters are just, you know, super sharp, and this rev counter in the middle, beautiful. Quick to choose between your different settings, and you got this wheel here to change from wet to normal to sport plus to individual if you want to customize it a bit more. And the seat, well, you can adjust it manually forward and backward, and then you adjust the backrest electrically and up and down electrically. And the steering wheel is just, well, it's perfect in its size. You get a perfect grip. It's a delight. But this one comes to my attention again. I've said it before, many people have said it before, but I don't understand. It covers this right cluster here. You can get your beautiful navigation perfectly portrayed here, but more than half of it is covered by this side of the steering wheel. It's a bit annoying when you need to check it like that. Like, where are we and where is that? Okay, and how much fuel have we got? Well, I just need to peek around it. Just, you know, a small thing that makes you irritated. So the best thing is just to drop that as soon as you can. It's a bit updated here. You can see that there are new graphics and new symbols, and it feels a little quicker. And this stopwatch or clock that you got up here, it's a bit renewed, and I think it looks elegant. It looks more like a timepiece on your hand now. Very good. And of course, if you want to change your color for these, well, that's optional. So there's not that much new in here. It's just a clean, good-looking 911 cockpit, which you always enjoy to step into. This car feels like you can exploit it a lot more on curvy roads with more full throttle and full engage. That GT3 Touring, well, it's too much for the road. You need to set that straight on a racetrack. So this becomes a lot more rewarding. It's like it's detuned to be perfect for all these type of different roads. Much more manageable, and you feel a little more secure because it doesn't go too crazy quick. Even though, of course, when you set it on a racetrack and you start feeding lap times, you always want something faster. You always want something harder with more grip. But these cars, they become too much on the road. But this one, just perfect. And I mean, do you need anything harder for the road? No, you don't. So why not use this when it's more manageable and you can use it more of the time? So this is a lot better because you want to drive it every day, and then you can push it a lot more and more often and get rewarded. Splendid. And I feel also that the manual gearbox sits so perfect in this car because it has such great comfort in how it works. It's not meaty in any way. It's just perfect in its mechanical feeling. And together with this power, it just synchronizes so well. You can get the 8-speed PDK gearbox, and of course you cut the acceleration time a bit, and it's a bit more efficient. I love these gearboxes. I don't say that I would prefer a manual gearbox over a PDK. I think I wouldn't, because I think they're very, very good. Because they are. But in this car, suddenly it becomes a lot better. So the Carrera T really tones down this big aura that the 992 has got. It's become a big car, but small changes like this really does an amazing job in this car, making it feel like a smaller sports car. So as you often say, you find that sweet spot. Well, they found a sweet spot here. Together with that manual gearbox, it's fun, it's engaging, you can use a lot of the power, a lot of the time, and it doesn't get out of hand crazy performance-wise, because you've got this incredible chassis, you've got this incredible steering, and the overall balance is just kept in check. And it also looks elegant, as always. I would like to have the back seats. I think it's good in emergency situations when you need to bring your kids or someone else. But you want to keep the weight down, of course. That's the magical thing. Even though a couple of kilos here and there, well, to the overall difference, I don't think it makes that much. But what makes the difference is this isolation that has been removed. Because I think that's the key to making it feel lighter than it is.